penalty expires. Hayes in front. There's a shot, and Morgan Frost scores. What patience by Kevin Hayes.
Yeah, great patience by Hayes and a great pass. That comes right. I mean, that's almost a power play goal. Right?
Yeah, it is. I mean,
that's a diet power play goal.
It is, and that's the, when you're looking at power play numbers, I mean, you always have to kind of keep that margin of error in mind when you're looking at power play and penalty kill numbers, is that occasionally your penalty kill will be slightly better than it looks, or will look slightly better than it is, and the power play looks slightly worse than it is because of those sorts of goals that occur right after it. I know there's no way to fix it. Mm-hmm. You can't come out there and come up with, okay, it's going to be a power play goal as long as it's scored before the guy gets back into the zone or whatever. There's no way to fix it. But that there's always a handful of those over the course of a year going both ways.
Yeah, great assist from Kevin Hayes, Rasmus Ristolainen, who kind of made that a 5-on-3 before the goal, by the way.
Yeah.
Because of that bomb shot, and Montreal player caught it right in the shin. And, Risto's got a heavy shot. I mean, that guy was hurt.
Yeah, there were a couple of times there where you thought maybe he was gonna take another one and try to take him out. It was Rafa Harvey Pinard that blocked that, and that he came back, but that was bothering him the rest of the game.
You could tell.
Yeah. I mean, he was looking down at that foot and all that. I mean,
Risto was trying to get the other pin.
It's like, all right,
send you out of here on a cart.
The first one wounded him. Let's put him down with another one, right? Yeah, no, but you got to give him credit. I mean, he was right back in there.
Yeah,
and eventually somebody else came out to block the shots for him, so he didn't have to do that again.
Yeah,
but, it was a good tilt. Good tilt there.
So Frost picks up his 15th of the season. Flyers go up 1-0, 9:39 of the second. It's Brendan Gallagher who picks up some loose change in front after a bit of a scrum or a crowded situation, whatever you want to call it. His 7th of the season. So we go to the third with the game in hand here, 1-1, but 17:45 late in the third. We're playing a tight game here. It's Morgan Frost again. This time his 16th gives the Flyers the 2-1 lead.
Justin Barron avoids a man in the far circle with a shot that was blocked, and Philadelphia races for the puck out through center ice. Here comes Morgan Frost. He's got Farabee going to the net. Frost cuts in front. He scores! Oh, what a highlight reel goal for Morgan Frost. His second of the game, and the Flyers take the 2-1 lead late in the third.
And he didn't get an assist on it, Joel Farabee. But again, he deserves one.
Honorary assist.
Yeah, I mean, he's driving the net again there, and it just opens up. So, kids, if you're listening and you're on a rush and you don't have the puck, drive the net. And he does it there again. Morgan Frost picks up his second of the game, 16th of the season. Cam York punches an assist there, 2-1 Flyers. Then at 18-14, we wrap up the Flyers scoring with an empty net tally. Owen Tippett is 22nd.
Puck is lifted back to the Montreal line. Oh, taken away by Owen Tippett. He goes in. He scores! Tippett into the empty net. Listen, as the Canadiens hand one right to the Flyers, it's 3-1.
And usually I won't play an empty net goal, Bri, but I wanted to play that one because the speed and burst that Tippett displayed to get on that Montreal defender and then knock it down.
Yep.
I don't think that guy was expecting him to be shot out of a cannon like that.
No. I mean, I don't think anybody ever is with him. And, I behind the curtain look here, I was walking around down here when that happened. But from point, I walked past the TV monitor, and then by the time I got, the time between that and the horn going off, I thought it was going to be one of those situations where the Flyers finally got one of those 200-foot empty netters themselves.
Yeah,
that's what I thought, because it happened so quickly. But that's how quick he got out of there. He made the disruption right off the face-off, and then he was right on it in the neutral zone, knocked it free. And yeah, I mean, that he's got sneaky speed like that, and eventually the rest of the league is going to recognize it, but at the same time, there's not much you can do about it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, the burst that he has with that frame. It's going to be such a tool for him going forward as well. And now that he knows he's got that tool in his bag, oh man, it just opens up so much for him.
And on the Frost goal too. I mean, the thing there, I mean, he was talking about how he was trying to get off the feed from this guy on the power play goal as quickly as possible. Same deal there. That he lost the handle on it for a minute.
Yeah,
he got it back, got the shot off as fast as he could, and that was something that the Flyers weren't necessarily doing in certain situations tonight. There were a couple times when they had grade A opportunities, but took a hitch or something like that, or maybe even didn't take the shot. And so that's the kind of thing that you want to see in that situation.
Yeah, he didn't panic.
Right.
Settle it, get rid of it, put it in.
Mm-hmm.
Really strong game from Felix Sandstrom tonight, I thought, too.
Yes.
Very good performance. I thought he was great in the game. And it's a tight game. It's 1-1 until, 4 minutes basically in the third period.
Yep.
There's no margin.
And full credit to him, because I don't know when he found out he was playing tonight, but it could
said right after practice. First thing I asked him when we taped the interview.
So could have been worse, but at the same time, the way the Flyers have been operating this year, they like to let him know like the day before or something like that. He obviously didn't get the probably the starter net reps in the morning skate, but he did come off relatively early. He and Carter came off about the same time, so that probably is when they figured out what was going on.
Yeah, and get Airson down here to the emergency recall.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it would have been yours truly as the backup.
On game days, Torts talks to the media before practice, not after.
Which is why he announced Hart.
So when we announced Hart, that's what was the plan. But, it worked out great for him.
Yeah, good performance. Felix's game has been real good. It's Hayes' heroes just walking out now. Kevin Hayes always has some cops here or some people from the community. And he comes in no matter what, win or lose. And you could see him in the background of your camera there, meeting with that cop and his kids and a friend. And AZ comes in gracious all the time and takes some pictures, signs some stuff, do a little chatting. And, things are going well right now.
It's
always feel good.
It's these can be boring times when you're not going to be in the postseason. It's a foregone conclusion, and then trying to limp through these last couple of weeks can really be a bit of a chore. But it's always the case is that winning is the best disinfectant. It fixes everything, so puts everybody in a lot better mood here headed into this month of April, which is amazingly coming up at the end of this week.
Yeah.
We're also 1-0 when Coatsy goes on the bench before games.
Yeah.
So, keep that up.
Yeah. Well, Coatsy may have to come back next year just to be I think one of those gargoyles at the end of the bench.
Yeah, I think that's the plan. We're just going to trot him out as kind of like a second mascot.
Like Weekend at Bernie's?
Yeah, exactly. Just sit back there behind the bench and,
drink.
Yeah, exactly. Just, cheer the guys on from there.
No doubt. Let's take a timeout. Flyers get a 3-2 win over the Montreal Canadiens. They wrap up the 7-game homestand in fine fashion. So let's take a timeout. We're back with more after this on the Flyers postgame show. Brian Smith, Jason Martinez on the Flyers Broadcast Network.
You're listening to the Flyers postgame show.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket.
Would be awesome if they stopped
pushing
winning,
a wet,
says Anthony.
heavy mop around.
A guy on the stream.
Then cleaning the mop when you're done, so it doesn't grow bacteria.
Again, I stress,
a
if we had
on top
been
of a hassle.
swept on that
Try
homestand,
Swiffer Wet Jet.
swept,
With Swiffer Wet
no
Jet,
points.
you start with a fresh
We would
pad and
be
cleaning solution
at
every
59.
time. And when you're done, you just toss
That would
the
move
pad.
us up 2 spots.
Swiffer Wet Jet, the faster,
4%.
easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
2%?
No, 2
Progressive
spots.
presents
You're right,
an
4%.
ad from
Yep.
Mom.
Yeah.
Hello? Is it on?
So
Not worth threatening.
Bundle your
over
home and
anything.
auto insurance with Progressive
Sorry,
and get
Anthony
protection
Morella,
round the
I
clock.
can't get behind you
Round
on
the clock. Does this
wishing the team
generation
would
even
lose.
understand what round the clock means?
I will
But
never go
Don't
there.
go, I'm just saying, because don't come
Now
to me
you
when they ask her to
can
do this
sit
over,
here
because the kids won't get it.
And not
Get round the
stress
clock
out too much
protection when you
over a
bundle
loss
and
at
save
this
with
time of year.
Progressive. It's easier than getting your mom
It's
to
a
make
lot
this
easier
radio
to
ad. Progressive Casualty Insurance
Not
Company
stress
affiliates
out
and other
over
insurers.
losses
Discount not available in all
when
states
you
or
have a
situations.
silver lining. to
All
them,
the
but
action on
you
the
also
ice giving
can't
you the chills?
wish
Bring
on
away
it.
to the hottest game in town, Delilah's.
Now,
Let
if
the world's
this
most
keeps
beautiful
up, you
showgirls
could
warm
have
you
a
up
case
as
for
you
it
claim the game on
because
Delilah's giant video wall. Or
Flyers
stayed in
are 4
after the
points
game.
away
Your
from
ticket stub gets you
picking
free admission. Ready for a real power play?
10th,
Come to
I think.
Delilah's, voted America's #1 gentleman's club.
That could
just
be
off Delaware Avenue and just out
irritating,
of this world. Delilah's,
yeah,
where body
It's-
checking
we're gonna
is
get
a
some
way of
lottery
life.
luck. Don't
Details
have a
now
new
at
day.
delilahs.com.
Gray Space
Columbus
Interiors
is,
full-service design
horrible.
Bought by San Jose.
Agriculture
I know.
Digest, House Beautiful,
Amazing.
El Decor,
And
Philly Mag,
Chicago's
Good Day
almost
Philadelphia,
there.
and more. Focused on creating a client-focused, collaborative, and
Anaheim's
transformative
fourth
design
now.
experience, our approach to design can be found at the intersection of beauty, function, and process. Design isn't black and white. Let us find your gray space. Visit us at grayspaceinteriors.com.
What if you could get health care at home?
Liam McHugh says if
What if one
the Penguins
mRNA
switched
discovery
goalies
could
with
cure
any
multiple
other
diseases?
Eastern Conference team in the
What
top
if we
8, they
could
would
cure
be
more cancers,
cruising
stop
into the playoffs
dementia,
now
and
instead
offer
of fighting
treatments
for the
so
playoff
personal
spot.
they're invented for
Not
you
wrong.
alone? At Penn Medicine, our history
there's
of
a few
finding
teams,
answers
maybe
comes from
not.
our courage to ask
Jake
big
Allen, would he be
questions.
better? Probably.
Penn Medicine, turning what
Um,
if into what's
I have
next.
to look at all the
AAA
teams
wrote
to
a
figure
long
that
letter to
out.
members to find out what
Oh,
they
they're
had
not
to say
gonna.
about their membership.
Florida just lost 4
My
in a
name
row.
is
They're not
Brian,
going to blow
Dr.
that.
Brian
Are they?
Layden to many, dad to
Yeah,
a few.
A 3-point
I was
lead, the
driving
game
from
in
Richmond
hand. They
to
should
my
feel
house in
pretty
Northern
good about
Virginia,
themselves right
and
now.
my engine oil light came on. I grabbed the antifreeze and started pouring it into the engine. And I knew as soon as I started doing it, so I had to call
Penguins
AAA.
are
I
the
know
only
enough to know
team
what I don't know. And I don't know a lot about
in
cars.
either conference that's a playoff
Get
team right now
fast,
that's
reliable
minus in
speeds
goal
at home
differential.
and on the go with internet and mobile from Xfinity.
Boston's
Switch
goalies I
to
would take.
Xfinity
I wouldn't
internet
take
with
Toronto's
unlimited
over
data
theirs.
included, so
Tampa,
you
of
can do
course,
more of what
Carolina,
you love
yes.
online with deals including a
Devils,
2-year rate
I don't know.
guarantee and no annual contract required.
Rangers, yes.
It's risk-free.
Islanders, yes.
Plus, with
They're about to
Xfinity
come back,
Mobile,
I
Panthers,
you're
yes.
connected to the
Buffalo,
fastest
no.
mobile service,
Ottawa,
and
no.
you'll get major savings.
Washington,
Go to
no.
Xfinity.com/faster,
Flyers,
call
yes.
1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store to
Montreal,
learn
maybe,
more.
and definitely not
Restrictions
Columbus.
apply. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet.
Now back to the Flyers postgame show.
Back live at the Wells Fargo Center, where the Flyers complete a 7-game homestand with a record of 5-1-1, and they get a 3-2 win over the Montreal Canadiens. 2 goals by Morgan Frost, his 15th and 16th goals of the season. 27 saves for Felix Sandstrom. He was the number 2 star. And Cam York, I thought, had a good game as well tonight, Brian. Again, you look on the score sheet, you look at the guys that led the way here tonight. Yeah, some veterans are certainly playing well, and you get an assist in this game. Kevin Hayes makes a really nice pass, but again, the young core, the young group of players, 24 and under, is really leading the way here in this recent surge in play.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at Morgan's game across the board. I mean, not just the 2 goals, but he leads the team with 5 shots on goal. He leads the team with 8 total shot attempts. He had 3 hits in this game, blocked 2 shots, 5 for 9 in the faceoff circle. I mean, that's the kind of game across the board that's going to lift the team up down the road. And again, I don't know what the future holds for roster wise, but you would imagine that the ideal scenario would be him not being a top line player, second, third, whatever. So you fill in above him, and you have a depth player going to bring up the next couple of lines like that. I mean, that's the makings of a good offense.
Yeah, he's really looking confident right now in the way he's playing, and what a stat line by him. That's a stat line that John Tortorella will like. And the other thing, I was talking to Bill, and we know Bill's a big Morgan Frost fan.
Yes,
right?
Jay.
Okay, thanks, Pat. I sent him a text and asked him a question. But
okay.
But
thought you guys had discussed that before.
No. But the other thing he's gotten really better at and good at is stick on pucks in defending situations. And I'll go back to Mike Yeo last year, because I think Mike Yeo started that process with him of teaching him how to defend. Now, when he played in junior and a bit in the AHL, he never didn't have the puck. You watch him in junior, he had the puck all the time.
Yep. And that's what a lot of those guys have to kind of,
recalibrate,
break that habit when they get here, because they're not going to be able to just skate through the league like they did in juniors.
Yeah.
So they have to a lot of times break some bad habits, stuff like that. That's a great sign that he's at this point been able to do that. I am just scrambling a little bit here just to check the ice time for him, because he was at 20:40 today, 20 minutes 40 seconds. That is the 3rd highest ice time in his career, and
that's regulation. Probably
two of the other 3 have been in the last month.
Yeah.
So it's that's the sign of how much he's kind of jumped up the charts here.
And what do I always say? Don't go by what the words of a coach is.
Mhm.
Go by how they use them.
Yeah.
That tells you how they feel.
Yep.
The usage is always a great.
And you know,
Robert.
again, the Vancouver game, that's a bit of an aberration. That was the weird game where they lost somebody in that game. I forget who, but played 21-39. It was a -3, but you know, the other ones have all been very, very solid performances. But that
was Konechny, wasn't it?
Yeah, Konechny, that's right.
They were
Konechny was Calgary.
Yeah.
Vancouver, he benched. That's when he benched Farabee and
Sanheim.
I think that was that.
And they were 11-7 that night too, so they were basically down the
right.
line.
So, but that's the first time that you know, there. 2014 is the other one I'm looking at here. That was the Arizona game, 4 points. That's the first time he's played that much and had a couple of goals like that.
Yeah.
So that's a great you know, a great indicator as well. That's only his second career 2-goal game, actually.
Yeah.
Or not. So, you know, that's you know, just keep watching that stuff you know, come along and keep improving and you know, take the next step.
Let's wrap up on this note. Cliff Watling on our stream sends this message in. He says, I didn't get to watch the game, but I listened to much of the game, including the end, while on the radio, while I walked my dogs. And he said, I scared a passerby when I whooped after Frost scored his second goal. LMFAO. No tanking, just growing.
And regulation. Thank you very much.
Yes.
That was not a game I wanted to see go past 60 minutes.
No doubt. So Flyers get the 3-2 win. They'll be back Thursday in Ottawa, heading north of the border to take on the Ottawa Senators, then back home here on Saturday to take on Buffalo, and then they'll head out for a 4-game road trip. So good win for the Flyers. Good homestand. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Let's thank a few people before we get out of here. Let's start with our on-site engineer. How about Betsy Deming? Great work by her tonight. How about our in-studio engineer? That'd be Pat Egan. Pat, who was on highlights tonight?
Ray Dunn.
Ray Dunn. And he actually was. Ray Dunn actually did do highlights tonight. We got the real name. For Tim Saunders, Steve Coates, Brian Smith, I'm Jason Martinez. You've been listening to Philadelphia Flyers Hockey, a 3-2 win over the Montreal Canadiens on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network. Good night, everybody.
You're listening to the
See you
Flyers
guys.
Post